Welcome to the Batman on Film Social Hour, episode 118. I am senior BOF contributor Ryan Lauer, and joining me on this is one Sir Legacy BOF contributor Justin Kowalski.
Hello.
Hello, Justin Kowalski. Hello.
I'm Justin.
Does it feel to have it?
Yeah, legacy.
And
I mean,
active,
that's a hell of a deal. Active and legacy is great because
and it's
like
great
Paul
because
Wears is legacy. I can't barely get him to come do anything, So
Justin, in your title is the same word that's in the title of the upcoming Superman movie.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
it's all connected. It's crazy.
It's
all connected.
Oh, jeez.
Every
time
we do
in.
every time.
Every
Ryan
time.
Lauer,
Yes, and you hear
the connection, man.
And there he is, the founder, creator, editor-in-chief, Bill Jett Ramey, also on the show. Bill, before we dip into the subject of today, I think we need to say,
lover of planes. Sorry.
Happy of yes, the lover of planes.
Yeah.
Bill Jett Ramey. Good.
Yeah.
Justin can see it now too. He's got all these planes hanging from his ceiling and stuff in the shot. It's great.
Yeah. It's all up there. So yeah,
they're everywhere. But we are actually recording this on the official 25th anniversary of Batman on Film, correct?
It is June 2nd. June 2nd, 1998. I was sitting there with a web TV and said, I should do a Batman site. So that's how Jet D60's Batman 5 page came to be, But I've been thinking about it before because there were a lot of, there were kind of, a lot of these, fan type sites for different things back then. Y'all remember like GeoCities and all these different, they were kind of like, they'll host the website for you, build your own website, and that was that kind of stuff. So
Angel Fire, GeoCities,
yes, all of that. So golly, I started now. I'm trying to think of some of the
25.
ones. I mentioned, but 25 years today.
Wow,
yeah,
that's wild, man.
Happy anniversary, Bill. It's a Friday, so I think you should celebrate.
Sure.
I don't know what you want to do. Maybe watch some Batman or something. I guess we're kind of celebrating because the point of this whole episode was actually looking back on Batmania. So everything's connected. I actually got a hold of you, Bill, a few weeks ago, probably, and said, or maybe it was a month or something ago, and I was like, I was 2 years old during Batmania, so sadly I don't remember any of it. And I've said you were not aging you, but you were an adult. So you remember it vividly. And then Justin's a little younger than you, and he also remembers it. And I said, I'd really love to be able to have a conversation of kind of reliving Batmania as we approach The Flash, where Michael Keaton is returning as Batman. And just kind of ask, just relive it a little bit from these different age groups. Obviously, me, I'll just kind of be sitting back and asking some questions of you two. But you have two different ranges. So you have some great variety of opinions and things that you remember, maybe even some items that you might still have today. First off, though, I wanted to look up at it because I think a lot of us, and because a lot of us were alive back then, even if we were 2 years old, that we referenced Batmania in 1989. But the term, fun fact, was actually coined by Billy Joe White, also known as Bill Joe, in the early 1960s, and was the title of his fanzine dedicated to Batman called Batmania. Mind blowing. Just for anybody who maybe didn't know that yes, we know of the 60s had Batmania.
Yes.
A lot of us referenced 89 as Batmania, but the term actually was before the series began in the 60s by a guy who did a magazine.
So, I knew there was a magazine, but I didn't ever think of using that term along with the 66 that hoopla surrounding that series, and then in 89. But that's cool to know. Thank you for that, Ryan.
It's all connected. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, there's no confirmation from what I was looking up, but it's it's kind of I feel like it's kind of obvious that it was kind of a play on Beatlemania from that time period as well, and just inserted it to Batmania. Sure. I mean, all that makes sense, sure.
Yeah.
But fast forward that now to 25 years plus. So it's going to kind of be like a free range. I have some questions, but nothing like hard hitting of you two. So, I mean,
I want hard hitting.
You want hard hitting?
I want hard
Yeah.
hitting.
All right, Justin, politics at the time. Okay.
It was the end of the Reagan era.
There you go. So I guess for me, looking up and watching a lot of videos, and I posted some really cool ones in the BOF Facebook group as well. You could almost say that, I mean, the first trailer, which many of us know is just clips of the movie, was released Christmas of 1988. Would you guys say that that's probably when Batmania started, Christmas time of 88? Or do you think it from the Keaton attachment, like the casting announcement? What do you think?
I would say it definitely kicked it off as far as with the mainstream general audience. I knew about the movie, and I've told the story many times. That, you know, look, when this came out, I had just graduated college. I was 23 years old. Okay. And
got it.
But I knew about the film because I would tell, you know, look, that was back when I was, you know, still closet Batman fan, you know, different times, believe it or not. And I'd go to the mall and I'd go in Walden Books and I would read comic books off the rack, or I remember Walden. I would, you know, and I would pick up Starlog or Comic Scene and look at those. And I can remember clearly at some point early 88 when they there was just a blurb. It probably was in Comic Scene about anything that had anything to do with comic book adaptations, because there wasn't a lot of films then, right? You know, there were animation stuff, I guess you could say, and there was a blurb that, you know, Warner Brothers is producing a new live action big screen Batman movie with Michael Keaton playing Batman and Jack Nicholson as the Joker. It was just that blurb, and I can remember thinking, oh my God, because I had wanted this when, you know, since I had saw Superman the movie in 78, I wanted Batman to get, you know, the big screen serious treatment, you know, and so I had wanted that. So here we are 11 years later, or a decade later, about, give or take, and they're doing it. And with Michael Keaton, you know, my reaction was like everybody else's. Oh, this is going to be a goof. They're just going to, you know, redo the 60s series. Because I was a Michael Keaton fan because I was huge. I discovered him with Night Shift. Like that was at 84, I think. I was in high school, or, you know, just out of high, and I loved that movie. And of course, you had Mr. Mom, and, you know, those movies he did during that era. So that's what I immediately went to, was it's going to be a goof. Little did I know I was wrong, right? I was was like wrong. Everyone else. I did not protest, and you know, it was those days of, it would be today's version of the hashtag campaigns. Can you imagine if they had that back then with Michael Keaton being cast as Batman?
People were writing letters and writing. I don't even know why I need to do hashtag, but I'm going to put hashtag in my letter.
But it was, there was literally, and because that became a story a little bit, you know, a little bit later on. When
you can find the news reports now of it. That's really, those are hilarious. I love it.
I think I have I got a copy of, like, from you know, like a photocopy, or I mean, I mean digital, but it's not, you know, something I have in my hand, of a New York Times article about it. You know, it's old school, like Keaton's drawn. You know how they used to do that. Might have been Wall Street. You know, it's Wall Street Journal. That's what it is. Wall Street Journal. Okay.
They have the compilations though, like on YouTube, of people being upset. It's kind of like,
so angry.
Who's this guy, Mr. Mom's Batman? You know, that guy, he's really upset. He's like, I don't know. Batman's dark and serious.
Justin, what do you remember as far as, like, when Batman being made into a movie became, you started to become aware of it?
I was always like a Batman fan. I used to have I couldn't remember what the heck they were, but I think they had to be the Pocket Hero Mego figures. Like, I remember my mom would buy them because I'd always pull the heads off. I'm like it was like a rubber head connected to a
You're
tape.
morbid.
I remember I had that, and so I remember like Batman was kind of like a character I really liked. But I was in 5th grade when Batman '89 was coming out. Like it was coming out that summer, so I was getting out of 5th grade. My first kind of memory of any of the marketing was probably a trailer, and it's like, what is this? And I think that's what kind of got me. I think it was like I saw it on Entertainment Tonight or something, because my parents would watch
Okay.
Entertainment Tonight, and I think that's where I saw like the first like image of this, and my dad's like, look, it's Batman, just he and I was like, what? And I don't think I saw the whole thing. I just remember seeing like, I feel like the only thing I really saw was like that clip from the end where it's like when he's up in the cathedral where he just kind of turns around,
The dramatic turn.
Yeah, and his face is all bloody and stuff. And so I think like, what the balls, like
what the balls? Watch your mouth, Justin.
Yeah, this is not like
we're going blue again here. Yeah.
Yep,
oh, I know.
Off the rails.
So, but yeah, and then after that, it just kind of like that whole summer, man. It just, I think it never stopped. Like once the promotion came, it was just everywhere you went, it was Batman. Yellow logos in the
that whole summer. But do you remember anything prior?
I don't. I really don't. I just
not so much.
I think the match, was struck right there watching that Entertainment Tonight thing. I was 10, so I didn't have a lot of like.
I'm asking
access.
a lot. We're 34 years ago.
But that's the one memory I remember sitting in the living room, like my dad yelling, "Hey, Justin!" I ran in and I saw that. I was like, what is that? And then after that, you just kind of you got a little more like, when's Batman coming out? And that's a whole other story of like getting to watch it. But yeah, man, that
Bill,
was
did you see the trailer in a theater?
I did. But what
you did?
The next thing I saw after, seeing the announcement of the film and comic scene, and again, here I'm at Walden Books, and I'm, reading comic books off the rack and Starlog and comic scene, and I don't know which one it was, but this was like late '88. They filmed that thing. They started like in the latter part of '88. They filmed it like in 3 months. It was so, it was crazy how, you think about how long they filmed it nowadays, but that's beside the point. But they, in that one of those magazines, there was a picture. It was that one we know, Keaton standing next to the Batmobile in the suit. And I just thought right then, I went, okay, this is different. This is not a redo of the 60s series,
I think that became a poster too. Not like in theaters or anything, but like a fan poster you could buy at like stores.
I've got it
like that
in my little '89 era over here. I've got it. Yes, and that then when I was like, okay, this is not going to be like Adam West. And then not long after that, I knew the trailer was out. I went to whatever movie it was, that was back then when that trailer was actually tied to a movie, because we didn't, they didn't have the internet like they have today, when they just introduced them online. But I went, I paid, I sat down, watched the trailer, and left. I didn't watch the movie it was attached to just to see that. And I was like, okay, it's on. So
I think I've told you this story before, maybe even like while we were recording once. Actually, I did that for The Dark Knight when they dropped the first full-length trailer. I was on a date and I told her, I said, I'm leaving to go to the theater next door to go watch the Dark Knight trailer, and then I'll be back. And it wasn't asking. It wasn't a discussion. I was like, I'll be back. And then I left, and I think 20 minutes I was in with all the previews, and it was the last one. And then I walked back in. She was like, how was it? I was like, oh my God, it was awesome. I don't even care what's going on in this movie. So, I mean, if that's how it was back in '89, like, I get it.
Yeah. And that's what really, from talking to Michael Uslan and others, and I mean, just not, and from reading about the history of that time, that's when it changed. I mean, I think at that point, with that trailer coming out and people seeing it, like I said, it was on, and it was just like I want to call it a slow burn till June of that year, but it was like, it's hard to, say it. It just all of a sudden, I mean, you knew about it, and it got a little bit bigger, and then boom, it was you know,
everywhere, man. Like you couldn't go anywhere, Ryan, without seeing Batman. Like no lie,
I
like
missed that.
nowhere.
Like, oh, it
It
sucks
was-
that I missed that because that'd have been so
yeah, like Dark
great.
Knight, like I think maybe Dark Knight hit like 30% of what Batman 89 was.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a slight. I'm just saying like
To put it in perspective, give some
everywhere,
context of
yeah.
like you thought
like-
Dark Knight was big. This was
yeah.
three
Like my
times as
buddy,
big.
his
Yeah.
dad was wearing a Batman tank top like all year long. Like I just remember him Batman tank top. This guy like, and then I spent a lot of the time at the beach that summer. Batman towels,
Yeah.
Batman
Yeah.
like ice cream at the ice cream shop, Batman ice cream. You know, I remember there was the Warehouse record store. It just had posters all over the wall of like the soundtrack. You know, people shaving bat symbols in their heads, man.
Yes.
Like, no lie, it was everywhere. I mean, it was hard to get away, like the bootlegs. And then the cooler part was all the classic Batman artwork was being pushed out. I was trying to find this hat. I still have this hat somewhere that I got, and it wasn't like Batman 89, but it had a big bat symbol on top of it. And it just had classic like the control art, like I think the Jose Luis Garcia Lopez stuff they would start pushing out.
Yeah.
Same thing was the shirt. Like a lot of the shirts you'd get
Mm-hmm.
were a mix of like the symbol, maybe some like Joker stuff, like, and then movie images, but then a lot of just comic art too. Just even like
Yes.
like classic Batman and Robin stuff. They even threw Robin stuff out there. You'd see a whole bunch of it, and so it just was you couldn't keep it on shelves, man. Like it was toys were hard to
Yeah.
get. Like I had to go to. I remember getting a rain check. I had no idea what a rain check was. I wanted to
It's
get
not
that.
raining. It's California.
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant. I wanted to get that Batman Toy Biz action figure, and I remember my mom like trying to get it for me, and it was like I didn't get that sucker probably till the end of summer. Like that figure, I got the Batmobile, which you want to see it? I still have it.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I
Show
still
it.
have the Batmobile and the Cocoon, man.
In the shield.
Wow.
Look at it.
Okay.
Look at that.
The plastic shield.
Oh, that's nice.
A two-seater.
A two-seater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Justice.
And
And
if
the
you
bat
pull
symbol on the
little-
side.
if you pull the
Is it
clip-
heavy?
No, it's not. But my son actually used to play with it when he was little, and so he broke it. It worked great until a few years ago. But there's a little thing in the lever, and you can in the like the stick shift, and it
Yeah.
would launch missiles. Anyways, I still have this sucker, man, and like I think I still have the box somewhere, but
Those are expensive to try and get.
it's
I've
rare that
I've
people have
looked,
the shield still. But yeah, man,
Jeez.
I did finally get the Batman, but I ended up like I don't know. I think I painted him or something like when I was like 12. I don't know what happened, dude. But
You were young.
yeah, I
You
got
know, we've all done things we regret.
the Erdl
Yep,
one.
I've still got that one.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's on my
that
desk.
one.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, I got tons
Little
of stuff.
2-year-old Ryan, that's his only piece of Batmania merchandise is
Yeah.
that little Batmobile because I'm 2, so it was just like, hey, Hot Wheels cars and stuff like that.
I
I
found
was
this. I wanted to show you this too. This is just a little. He had a rope and it broke, but it stuck to a suction cup. You'd like put it in a window. Just a
Oh
little
my
I
gosh.
hanging
remember
Batman.
that.
So I still have. It's so
Awesome.
random. Like some of the stuff I had, like my
To turn it- show and tell, just
cereal.
The
Yeah.
Batman cereal bank.
Y'all should put this out as a video so people can see. Like,
The
Yeah.
the
Man,
symbol's
symbol's
rubbed
gone.
off of him.
yeah, symbol's gone, but whatever, dude. But yeah, man.
You know, this is just purely anecdotal, but
Yeah.
I did my student teaching. I was finishing college. You know, if y'all know, I was a coach, football coach, and a teacher, and I was doing my student teaching, and I would see it was in junior high, so you know, 7th and 8th graders basically. But I would see. I started in January and it went to May, so up till, and I could tell like as the semester progressed and it got closer to summer, more and more Batman stuff showing up with kids, you know, wearing Batman all those, all the stuff that Justin mentioned, because there was a lot of just comic book. They took comic book art and made, you know, it's like 70s and 80s looking stuff and make the t-shirts out of them. It was Batman. And yeah, and I knew about, you know, a movie, you know, so I would ask those kids. I remember going, they wear Batman stuff. You gonna go watch that movie? Oh yeah, you know. So that and then also when this was like probably when it was just, you know, fever, the pitch high, sky high, whatever you want to way you want to describe it. when that Prince soundtrack came out,
Yeah.
and it was that Bat Dance was
Yeah. that
all
song.
over MTV, man. And this was when MTV was MTV. You know, the classic, playing the videos and watching it. It was a big deal. MTV
when did that come out? Did that come out before
like
the movie?
April or
Way before
May?
the movie? Okay. So
April,
started
May, because
snowballing.
yeah.
I got the
Yep.
tape right here.
I had that
Open it up.
cassette
What's
tape,
cute?
man. Yes.
Open it up. What's the book inside look
I
like?
think there's a picture of Batman and Vicky Vale or something. Hold on. Sheesh. Yeah, okay, there's a cool image. It was like everybody. Oh yeah. Look at that. You got
I was gonna say, is it the one of the him that was back on the VHS
Oh, wait, there's more.
where
Hold on.
he's shooting the grappler and
There
she's
you
over
go.
his shoulder?
There's Prince. He's like,
And
hey,
then Prince,
I'm in here.
Yeah.
I forgot Prince was in there. And then it's funny, they kind of cut off Batman right there. They should have just put Batman and Vicky together. And then there's the way you get a load of me.
Chemicals get a load of me.
Yeah.
Vicky,
So.
yeah, nice. What's about the other side? Just like track listing?
Yeah, it's just like the words and
Oh, it came with the lyrics?
yeah, man. I think so, yeah.
Used to love those liner notes, man. Especially,
I want to know what you're saying because I didn't know.
Oh my gosh, that's really funny. Okay, so in Bat Dance, it actually has dialogue. It's like Joker. Oh, I got a live one here, and it's all Gemini. Get the funk up, and then choir. Batman. It's got characters like Vicky Vale, Bruce. So that's really, I never noticed that. This is right now.
Nice.
Today's year old, and I figured out it's a whole dialogue of the. Then that's just for Bat Dance. That's funny. All right.
So that tape
that was huge, man.
That video was wild, man.
Yeah. It was
and
huge.
did you both like it, or were you all in just because it was Batman marketing?
I liked Prince already.
Yeah.
So the idea of Prince doing music for it was a big deal too, man. I mean, it's very 80s, kind of thing.
And he did that fast. Because originally they wanted Michael Jackson and Prince to do it.
Yeah.
It's like a documentary I watched where it said something about like maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah,
he had all the songs.
You're right. I think
crazy.
It was between 3 to 8 weeks he got it done. And so that's why when you hear Bat Dance, like the quotes they're pulled right from dailies.
And where is the Batman?
Yeah, so they might be different takes and stuff. And so if you listen to that song again, but yeah, man, I remember that video. That was like, watching that was like incredible because it was probably the most Batman content, like instead of the movie, that you could get. And it was just kind of cool, like seeing like Prince, no lie, I always say, like, dude, he looked like a really great Joker. He looked like the comic book Joker, like when they had the half face. He kind of looked like the Brian Boland like illustrations if you pause it. But
yeah, sure.
Yeah, that was yeah. I wasn't like I was a kid, so I wasn't like a huge Prince fan. I think it was like, oh, it's Prince, cool, I know Prince. But it was just Bat Dance was.
But I was gonna say, this is a gateway where it's like, hold on a second. He's cool.
For me,
me,
it was just to see, you're seeing Batman on MTV.
Yeah,
was big because, like, it's hard to imagine in this day and age where comic book, like being a Batman fan, being a fan of comic book stuff, it's cool. It has been cool for quite a while. Growing up growing up in the 70s, it wasn't cool, and especially, then if you're an athlete, you were pigeonholed in this stereotype. You're an athlete, you can't like comic books, or and it was a different time. So that's why, I was like diehard nerd comic book kid growing up, and loved $6 Million Man on TV and all that, and I had action figures and all that, and then all of a sudden, I can play football a little bit, and it's like, better keep that on a down and low, on a down and low. And this is all a big deal to me. It's just because it was like, all of that. It's like a weight off your shoulders to something you love like that so much, and to be able to go, I can talk about this shit anywhere now, to anybody. And then seeing just the hype by everybody, and then Prince of all on MTV. There's Batman. Yeah,
It kind of
like,
legitimized it. Like,
yes,
oh, okay,
exactly.
it is legitimate.
Yes, yes.
So
It did.
did you feel that post the movie being released or in this build up, Bill?
In that build up,
In the build
and
up.
then afterward, and once the movie was out,
that was the punctuation of like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
let's talk about Batman.
Yeah, that's it. And I went back into the comic book shop, and I didn't go to Walden Books and stand reading Dark Knight Returns off a spinner rack and stuff like that. I went, I remember going, and I got, I had bought comic books in a long time, to be honest. And I remember getting Gotham by Gaslight, which it had come out. What was it? That's about 88 when that came out, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I do have a first.
I thought it was 90, but I could be totally wrong. I'll look it up. Carry on.
But I had the first printing, but I got that by going back to the comic book store, comic shop, because of Batman 89. That
89.
89.
Yep,
yeah.
89. You're right.
Take my picked up, year one, picked up the collected version of it, still have it. And some other stuff. And I have never stopped since then. So that was it, man. That was it.
It was interesting in looking it up and doing some, there's some good videos available for you to check out of, and at the time, Warner Brothers became like, I think in the 80s, it became Time Warner and became like a multimedia thing, which now isn't surprising, but then it was surprising and kind of rare. So they kind of did a multimedia assault on, with music. So you've got Prince with the print medium of magazines and comics, and then in action figures, the toy line, and putting a lot into this of like, we're going to make this an event. And if you knew how to do it, everybody'd be doing it. So it is just like, I mean, looking back on it, of course, because I wasn't there to experience it, it's like, it's by pure chance that everything worked, because I think it's tried to be done again, and it doesn't work a lot of times.
So if you think about it, Ryan, that whole summer,
no, you're good.
It wasn't just Batman 89 that came out, because it was Ghostbusters 2, it was Indiana Jones, Lethal Weapon,
three successful franchises.
Yeah. And those things came out and they did well, but once those movies weren't like it anymore, Batmania was still going the whole summer, because there was merchandise, like it so much that like even Toy Biz lost the license before the shelf life of the movie. Like then Kenner regained the license and still made new toys. Like, and that wasn't in 89, that was in 1990. Like the Dark Knight collection was based on Batman 89.
And that's where the packaging had Keaton's up close of Keaton's face in the cowl, right?
Yep.
On the left side of that.
Yeah. And so like that's how much the marketing impacted. Like it became beyond the film. It became cultural at that point. Like once everyone got their taste of the film that summer, it's like, okay, I need more Batman stuff.
I want it.
Yeah. And not that those other movies were not as successful. It was just like they didn't create this like cultural like zeitgeist, like I'm in love with Batman now, Batman is cool, right? Like you didn't see that. You weren't getting Ghostbusters shaved in your head, right? You weren't getting
no, that'd be dumb.
On the back of your head. Yeah,
that'd be dorky, Justin.
Yeah, but just saying, like, that other stuff just didn't stick like that. It was a movie, it did well, but Batman just kept going, man. So
yeah.
Bill, what was some of the things that you bought aside from like you went back to the comic shop? What was some of the Batmania merch?
I had, I had the T-shirt. I got I didn't do, and be honest, I mean, you'd be surprised especially if you look at my office, but I still at that time, I didn't buy a lot of the merchandise, the toy type stuff that went along with it, because there was still, that was kind of, that was the part of the movie that was for kids. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, I got the novelization, I got the comic book adaptation. I had the trading cards where they are today. I don't know. Cards. I know Justin still has his. I had them.
So I saw the movie.
I bought I don't know how many magazines that had, you know, stories about the movie on it. I think there was even there was a big feature on it, like Rolling Stone. I had that one. So I one regret of that era was that I didn't buy more of the merchandise, you know. And I just, you know, it's not an excuse. It just was it was a different time, you know. Justin's a kid, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I had
You know,
everything.
that's his wheelhouse. I mean, you know, being that fifth grade,
Still.
You still have the folder.
Yeah,
Nice.
I still have full. It's weird. Well, because I remember getting like these folders for school, and I actually ended up keeping clippings of Batman stuff in it. Like this is all Batman Returns stuff. It has nothing to do with Batman.
See, that makes me
It
wish
does, because it's Michael
you know,
Keaton.
Well, yeah,
It's
but
connected.
look at this. Like I had this. I took this to school.
Yeah.
So now I have like trading cards in it. But like, I just kept all this stuff, man. I don't know. I just never. I remember my mom was very like, "Don't get rid of that," you know. Like it could be worth something. Like, I mean, I don't know if I don't care, but like I just have these like things like.
Whereas a lot of other
held
parents are
on
like,
to
get rid of it. You don't use it anymore.
Yeah, but like
Kowalski mom was like,
but she
hey,
knew like, oh, you really, she knew like I was in love with Batman, dude. It was like, whatever I can get. And so she was always like, hold on to it, you know. And so I think I have most of the stuff, man. I don't think there's any. That's why I still have the t-shirt. She held on to it, put it in a bag, you know. And so I don't know.
You've
what
got
else.
the adaptation behind you. I see that. I think that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
deluxe edition that came out a couple years ago.
Yes.
Fire Off. So you just said the folders. You showed us the Batmobile, the little put on the window Batman. What are some other things you picked up? The Topps cards.
I got this like little Batmobile deal. It's just
a little one.
Yeah, it has, you know, it's like a Keaton. I don't know what the heck. I don't just there. I still have my Taco Bell cup somewhere. I only had two. I had a Batman one and a Batmobile one. And I think I picked up a Batwing one later, but yeah, but I don't have them around. But yeah, everything else I have, like this is just like modern 89 stuff. But like that's people like it, dude, you know?
Yeah.
I just picked this guy up too. The grapple.
Nice.
So you've got the two NECA grapple gun and battering.
They got a belt coming out too, and I'm gonna get
I saw it, yeah. It makes me I'm glad I was quote unquote an adult, you know, when it came out. But you know, I was adult. I was out of college, man. I'd already had got my job. I wasn't starting my job until late July.
Yeah.
But you know, but there's something about at that point wishing I was like young Billy back then, and being able to, you know, because I'd been all in, because you know, growing up, I had, I mean, tons of action fig, G.I. Joes, you know, Star Trek action, you know, Mego Star Trek, Mego DC stuff, Planet of the Apes from Mego. I mean, I had all kind of stuff. Evel Knievel, $6 Million Man. I would have, you know, I wanted it, but you know, there's still that, you know, like, okay, I'm buying all this stuff. I got all the magazines. I have like, it's basically like, you know, and I don't know where it is. It's somewhere, but it's like it's like the, you know, the ones we get today, like the art of the Batman, the art of, you know, the making of. It was like there was one like
a movie guide.
Movie guide. That's what it was. But it was, I had that.
I found that at a comic shop actually when I moved to Chicago in 2016, and it was like in their clearance rack or something. It was like maybe $10, and I was like, steal.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
The Topps magazines. I remember having that.
Yes. To it, but like I said, I had all the magazines. I taped everything, VHS, videotaped every
all those news reports
that I, you know, Entertainment Tonight. There was what were some of the other ones? There was one, and it was
2020.
Did
you get that one?
I wore that. I literally wore that 2020 out. But I remember taping that, watching it. What show was it? There was another entertainment show. It was like Entertainment Tonight, but it was Bill McAfee. I just remember the guy. You know, I think he's still around. He was the host of it, and that's when they did a feature on Keaton Batman, and you know, people you know, upset about it. It should have been, you know, like some kid, I don't know about Michael Keaton, but it should have been Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah.
You know. but I had,
You killed my parents.
yeah,
Killed my parents. Killed my parents.
I watched all that even after the movie came out because, again, different era.
Yeah.
You had to wait for a long time before you even would get the VHS.
Yeah, it came out in October.
Yeah,
I think
and so
the fastest turnaround was that.
yeah. So the soonest I could watch anything, unless I went, I saw it, I don't know how many times in the theater that summer. I mean, 10, 12 times.
Were you there opening day?
Oh, yes. When the opening night.
Wow.
And
that was wild.
this is before, there was no, first it was midnight screenings. They were literally at midnight.
Mhm.
Now the early screenings are the day before the announced release date. They started at 2 or 3
Thursday at
o'clock.
5 p.m.
Yeah. So it was, I mean, for real, like the first screening was 7 o'clock on that day when it came out, and I was ready. So I went, and there was a line. I got early. I was in line. The theater was packed. I saw a buddy of mine and his girlfriend it was at a mall. It was like one of those theaters that are at a mall,
Yeah.
So we're in line inside the mall waiting to get in.
Oh, good. I was gonna say this is Texas summer heat.
Yeah, not outside
at that time. So,
and my buddy comes, "What are y'all doing?" I was like, "We're gonna go see Batman." He goes, "Okay, let's go see it." So I recruited 2 people to see Batman at that time, and yeah, I went.
Did you get good seats? Decent.
Yeah, good. I mean, I sat like in the middle toward the aisle. I can still remember where I'm sat at, middle toward the aisle. But these were old school 80 movie theater seats. It wasn't you didn't have your stadium seating and all that like then. You're kind of almost flat, but it's like the grade up was very not very, the pitch was not very high, and it was almost level. And big the cushions. Remember those 80s theater seats?
Oh, yeah.
Big thick cushions.
Yeah.
And you sit down and it kind of rocks. There was, you didn't have the things that recline back today, like all that. But yeah, I'm not complaining because that's just the way it was back then. But yeah. I was there opening night, man.
I didn't know with the line of how far back in line you were if you ended up having to get first row seats or something like that.
Here,
so.
I went early. Okay. I like at 4 o'clock for the 7 o'clock screening. So no candy.
Bill was cutting people in line.
I was going to say, what did you do for 3 hours to entertain yourself in line?
I
didn't have your cell phone.
I didn't care. No cell phones. No cell phones. I was just out. I wanted to see that movie. So
yeah.
And
Justin, what about you? When did you see it finally?
I saw it on VHS.
Killer.
I told that story. Like I put it together on trading cards from the Ice Cream Man, and it was what a heartbreak, especially my mom knowing how much I love Batman, and like what it kept going. Like, we can't. Oh, we're busy. Your aunt, whatever. Anywho, I was gonna say one of the cooler things that I remember was with it coming out as far as like Batmania going. That's when they started, doing a lot of talk shows with Adam West and Burt Ward, like from the classic show. Like they got a lot of like time too. And I think you can look it up. I used to have a video called Batmania that I bought, and it was all about like the history of like, Batman, like craziness. And so it went from the 60s
that's
and
on YouTube now.
Maybe, and it went all the way to Batman '89, and it was just like, why are we obsessed with Batman? And it had stuff with Bob Kane, and it was really cool. I remember watching that tape all the time because I would just like, anything Batman I would watch. And so it was, oh man, I just remember this weird video. It was like B-roll footage of Adam West and like and Julie Newmar and Burt Ward walking around like a studio, like some set pieces outside, and they were just talking about why are we obsessed with Batman? And anyways, and it had the famous clip of Adam West wanting to be Uncle Batman. Now, why didn't they ask me to be Uncle Batman in this film? And it was like, well, he's Bruce Wayne too. I don't know. It was just like kind of lamenting from the old cast, like, oh,
sure.
The Joker, why is he so violent? Like that was Cesar Romero. Like he's not fun. Everyone's like, this is how we did it. And so, anyways, it was just cool to see all that stuff. And they would play the old movie on like, you know, I remember recording that off like Fox out here in California. Like Fox, they would play it like the Friday night movie. And so yeah, it was cool. And all the old Batman shows would be in reruns again. So yeah, just anything Batman was just like boom, boom, boom. Like we're
anything Batman was getting run, like Justin said, Adam West, all that. The spotlight went back on them. Bob Kane, you know, got a lot of run. You could, you know, that 2020 piece, he gets, you know, a lot of run in it, and it changed. It changed the perception of Batman.
Yeah.
That, you know, before this, if you said Batman, it was immediately, you know, no, you know, and Adam West and stuff, and this it changed that with the general audience and the mainstream. You know, diehard fans knew, you know, Batman had been dark and serious since 1969. You know, but 20 years till the movie came out, and Batman has been on that high pop culture shelf ever since 89. You know,
did either of you get the Elfman score at the time, or no? Just because I know that it wasn't a big thing until that Batman score, and that saw a big spike in people wanting that score.
I
got
did
it
not
on a
have
CD
it
later.
I got it later on in life. CD, yes. But because the cool thing to have was that Prince soundtrack that went with it.
I actually have my CD signed by Danny Elfman.
Whoa,
oh, nice.
I met him at a Boingo show, and I brought that, and he messed with us. He's like, "Oh, that's not me. I didn't do that." I was like, what? Is there two Danny Elfmans? You know, and then he signed it, and so
Oh, he's so silly.
Yeah, he's a silly guy. You know what? One of the things I remembered was one of the most frustrating things I remember back in the day, but it's become like a thing of itself, was the old Sunsoft video game. It was.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, none of it sounds like Batman. There's no Elfman theme. There's nothing except like 8-bit like generated.
And he's purple
versions.
in it, isn't he?
He's like purple and blue, yeah. But I
love purple.
Game. And
loved
it. I loved it. And then now that's even the soundtrack to that, people redo it and they play it, and there's like a whole like subculture of the Batman 89 Sunsoft video game, and they even make figures of that, like the Michael Keaton figure, like in the tones of purple and blue. Like it's so funny, like how, like, looking back now on Batman 89, that marketing is so, like, I mean, it's nostalgia, but it hits it just hits something differently, like whatever it is. But yeah, that video game, man, it was a whole other thing. Like, this doesn't sound like the movie,
that would be honestly when I'd be a good boy, little Ryan, in like early 90s, I could go to the local video store and rent that on my Game Boy.
Yeah.
Batman on
the Game Boy
one. That's how I played it. Yeah. Never beat it, because I never beat any game.
You got to get on a simulator and play the NES version, because it's just,
man,
it has nothing to do with the movie.
I played the heck out of that game. I forgot. And then I mean, speaking, I had my first job, I had like this break during the day with lunch and conference period, and my apartment was right around the corner from the school that I was coaching at, and I would leave school during the day during that break and go play that Batman 89 game.
Yeah.
You know, and then go back. So yeah.
Batman would throw this big pink like ninja star. It was so weird, like the weapons he had.
Just from the movie, straight from the movie.
Like, oh yeah,
but it was
cut that scene at the last second.
It was like, it was cool when you put it in, you started it, you know, like a cool shot of Michael Keaton Batman, you know, came up, and it was just, you know, I don't even think I even thought like, okay, that's not the movie theme or anything. I was just like,
cool.
There hadn't been a Batman video game like that.
Yeah, it had cutscenes and stuff. Like you said, you're like, oh, it would kind of tell the story of the movie, and then all of a sudden you're like, why are you fighting dogs? Like, it was just weird. It was just
was
that. You don't remember that scene either?
Is that the first Batman video game ever?
I don't think so. I think there was probably an Atari or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
For me it is, but I'm
Yeah.
Ryan Haas would know.
I was about to say Haas would know for sure.
Yeah.
Apparently a 1986 video game.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think there
for
was.
Ocean Software for the Amstrad PCW, Amstrad CPC, ZX Spectrum, and MSX.
Cool.
Don't know what that is.
Didn't have any of that. I had some of the
Yeah.
other stuff before the Nintendo, but like I said, I've told you that I had Pong when it came out, so
Pong.
really aged myself. But no, I did. That was the first for me, first Batman video game for sure.
Bill, did you ever look at the Warner Brothers catalog that year? There was so much stuff in there, man. I remember that catalog.
Probably,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
Jean jacket.
Yeah, you'd get. I mean, anything it was a great example of like the beginning of the video. Can't watch a Warner Brothers movie without a Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Warner Brothers ball cap.
Yeah, but they had. I remember they had a giant remote control Batmobile in there to buy, and they had ads with like John Stamos wearing a leather jacket with a Bat logo on it. It was like, hey,
with his mullet.
Yeah, John Stamos loves Batman, and I remember they had the autobiography with Batman and Me by Bob Kane. I just remember the images in my head. I'm like, oh, I remember looking through that whole catalog.
Bob Kane was in that catalog too. Sporting jacket, I think a Joker jacket.
Yeah. So yeah, it had everything, man. So really cool, like just really cool memories, coming with that. Just that whole time, man. I love it. It was one of my favorite times, like as a kid. Just Batman that whole summer. Every memory was great, man, of like Batman '89. Even though I didn't see it in the theater, you
could say. You can answer this then, both of you. And I mean, if it changed over time, if you could answer something then as opposed to now or whatever. But what was like your favorite piece of Batman merchandise from that time period?
I would say it was probably the having the Batmobile and the Batman figure together. That was fun, man. I had so many like adventures with that, like it just kind of it reignited my love for like superhero culture and stuff like that. I was just having a ball with it, man. Action figures, just going nuts, man. And here's the cool part of it is it forced me to find comics. Like I had a few I had a few books here and there, like I got some the year before, but I was like, it was my introduction to comic shops. Like I never went to a comic book store. I didn't even know that was a thing until like my uncle told me, and so and so I remember those books that came out, those runs of Batman. They were very surprising to me because I was like, oh, why is Batman wearing blue and gray now? Like I thought he wears black. So I didn't know there was a difference. Like I just thought blue and gray was old stuff. Like Batman wears black now. That's what I thought. And so it was a little jarring to go, oh, what's going on? And then you start reading these books and you're like, why is he mad about, why is Robin dead? You start reading all these, like you start getting like
it's a whole new world.
He's lamenting in these books, like, oh, too bad, what happened, who's Jason, like all this stuff though.
Yeah.
What about you, Bill? What was like your favorite piece?
Well, as I said, I didn't have a lot, but being able to get a Batman t-shirt with the Batman logo and wear it in public and
yellow and black, or was it the movie color?
No, it was just
the
like
yellow
Justin's
black
got on the yellow black. Okay. The classic Batman, that right there, Batman logo.
Well, this is the
classic Batman
logo.
Yes. So but you know what I mean, the classic yellow and black oval Batman logo. This was a big deal in my Batman fan life. It was liberating, in a way, and I mean, like we're talking about Batman on a podcast that's associated with a 25-year-old website I've ran about Batman. So it's a big deal to me.
On the eve of that guy coming back as Batman.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
I say the eve, but I mean we're close. Less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
One last question, and then we can wrap up here. But I think I've asked you guys, but I mean you have to ask, because I think the biggest thing that always comes out is people talking about, as you said, Justin, getting the bat symbol shaved into your head. Did either of you get the bat symbol shaved in your head?
I did not. Didn't
You
go
did
that
not.
far.
Ah.
No.
1992, little Ryan went to the barber and she said, I've got a Batman pattern. Do you want it traced in your head? And I said, Mom, please. She said, okay. It was the summer. But it was one of those, it was, it was in the back of my head. So I was constantly grabbing her mirror and going to the bathroom and looking at the back,
Just standing there, just looking at you.
Yeah, just looking at the back of my head. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And just
you should have been like, mirror.
Yeah.
Just standing there yelling at her, mirror.
Yeah.
Awesome. I mean,
oh, you know what? Sorry, that reminded me of something. One of the coolest things I had was a laughing ball. I don't have that. It was a laughing ball. It sounded like the Joker. Like
at the end?
Yeah.
Like
it wasn't
his
like
lab.
yeah, it was like that. It was a little blue ball, and I remember buying it and it had the Joker on it, like classic artwork, like
Awesome.
70s Joker in a trench coat, right? I remember that. And there was a little blue ball in it with orange laugh, like ha 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 on it, and it was like that laugh from the movie, ha 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 ha, ha, ha that type of thing. I remember that.
Yeah,
I don't
that'd
have
be awesome.
that no more. Yeah,
that's actually what was in the bag
that
Gordon grabs
maybe.
at the end, and his,
maybe
in
it
his
was
pocket.
in the bag.
Yeah, it's all connected.
That was fun.
That's all I got as far as Batmania. Do you guys, either of you, have anything that we didn't even mention that you wanted to?
No, I just you briefly mentioned it. The Keaton, Michael Keaton coming back in the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's it's nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's nostalgic, but it's a big deal. I'm sure a lot of people of my vintage, and then a little older, a little younger, that age group, to see him come back as Batman. And even though I'm not a huge fan of Batman Returns, I absolutely love Batman 89, and I love Michael Keaton's Batman. Even in, I love him as Batman.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see him return,
Yeah.
Batman Returns.
It's definitely been really hard to track down Keaton merchandise. Like you can buy a Flash figure right now. Michael Keaton, like Pete sent me a link yesterday. Get it now, because they popped back up. Like that
I placed an order.
Yeah, it's hard
right away.
So it tells you there's definitely a desire to see him and a love for him, and so there's something about that. I don't know if we're ready yet. Like if they put out a Val Kilmer thing, it wouldn't not to shame that. I'm just saying like
it's just different.
Something about Michael Keaton hits different. And whether you watched it as a kid, like my kids are excited to see Michael Keaton again, because that's how I just, hey, Batman 89, like when it was time for them to watch it, they get it. My son, his favorite figure was a black Batman figure, like black suit, and it was like he called it, oh, this is my Batman 89. From like when he was like 8 to like 10, he had this thing, and so I'm excited for it, man. It's really cool to kind of to be in like my 10-year-old kid now. He's at the same age as I was like when I saw Batman 89. Like he's
and you're taking him to the theater.
I'm taking him.
We're not waiting for the VHS.
Say, find some trading cards,
VHS. I would say with Keaton, he was the first dark and serious Batman, which that has a lot to do with it. He's probably, and it was the first big live action Batman movie, and then the movie was such a big blockbuster, summer blockbuster, part of it as well. And I think you got West and Keaton are on that, that cultural level as Batman, more so than I love the Dark Knight trilogy. I love Christian Bale. I wouldn't yet put him up there with those two, or even much as I love the Batman and Pattinson, and I love Batman. I like Batman Forever quite a bit. I don't even unabashedly will say I'm a fan of that movie. I thought Val Kilmer was great, but there's just something about West and Keaton as Batman that I think
they're in a league of their own.
People. Yeah, I think so.
And not talking about the Tom Hanks movie. They're in a league of their own of Batman.
Yes.
Batman.
The League of Batman. The
League
of Batman.
Yeah.
I have to wait until June 15th, the evening of the 15th, to be able to see it. But I'm okay with it because apparently that's when everything's going to be added into the Flash. Because they withheld whatever kind of surprises, a couple maybe, some for the wide release. Justin, when are you going to see the Flash?
That Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
That's
and it's a family affair.
Yeah,
You're taking the boys.
It's like my son's birthday is the 18th,
Nice.
so we're gonna
Great
do
birthday.
we're gonna do the whole schmear. We're gonna go IMAX and
Yeah. Bill, and this is a good tee up for you because you're gonna see it way before either of us do.
I see it Monday, the 5th.
Save Monday.
Oh,
I'm
will
taking-
your
I'm
version
taking-
have everything?
It is the theatrical release cut. Yes.
Oh, okay, very cool.
Yeah. I see. I'm taking the announcer, and we're going.
Nice.
And I kind of went. I said, "We're going to." I said, "I got a press screening Monday." She goes, "For what?" And I said, "The Flash." She went, gave me that look. I said, "Michael Keaton Batman's in it." No, come on, you got it. You got it.
Yeah.
She likes all the stuff. She likes Wonder Woman, but like, if it gets like 2 comic books, she's kind of like, that's not her thing. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yes, we're going to see it. I'm excited. So
And
I'll
then
do a
Tom
video.
Cruise said it's great.
I'll do
Tom Cruise said it's great. Stephen
yeah,
King liked it.
yes, I'll do a video, like a first reaction after we come out
Mhm.
and put that up. And then the embargo lifts on the
Okay.
6th at 12 noon Pacific, 2 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you're listening and you're wondering where all the reviews are, the 6th will be a
Gotcha.
floodgate
Wow.
come out.
So
Excited.
navigate wisely, I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah.
I think I even told you, Bill, kind of like I'm going blackout. I don't know that I'll even look for your stuff on BOF until afterward because I
Hey, no spoilers on Batman on Film, man.
I
Come
know,
on.
I know. Opening line. So the Flash dies, and it caught me off guard. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
Bill. No, I'm saying no Batman spoilers. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
That's funny.
Well, this was fun. This lived
Yeah.
up to the hype of what I was hoping that it would be. So thank you both gentlemen. Coming on this show, Bill coming on your own show. Giving up the wheel to the Batmobile and let me drive. It was fun. It's good.
I think I had more fun doing it this way than I would have been
Oh, good.
being the moderator, because this was fun because I really, reflected about how big of a deal this was for me and my love
Yeah.
for Batman, and changed. Look, I don't want to be hyperbolic here, but it kind of changed my life because it indirectly led to this website,
Yeah.
Batman on
Yeah.
Film. So yeah.
And it's all connected.
Oh, look at my Batman stuff fell down here. Oh, look what I just found. Something just
Hey,
fell
look at
out.
that.
Hey! I bought this Batman 89 like fake action figure card. Like
Nice.
Star Wars,
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't even know I had this. I just it fell out of the book. That's so funny.
It's all it happened.
Wow. Look how cool
Yeah.
that is, dude.
Yeah.
Wow, I need to do something with this.
Next that.
That's
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was 2 when Batmania started, but it's always fun. I think every year I go down a little rabbit hole and just look up stuff from that time period. I watch on the extras of Batman, that 6-part documentary series, and the first 3 parts are all about Batman 89. Like it's fun for me to where it is like, I want to blame my parents for not meeting sooner so that I could have been older in 1989, but whatever, it is what it is.
It's not how it works.
It's not how it works. Yeah. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and let's plug and get on out of here then. Justin, why don't you go ahead and go first?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Justin M. Kowalski, and my hope and desire is to soon restart the Batman 89 chapter by chapter.
Oh,
It's been a rough.
I have had people now that we're getting closer to Keaton being out. People going,
I know.
Where are those? I just remember because one hit me yesterday, was like, man, I'm with Keaton coming out. I'm missing the chapter by chapter. I said, don't sweat it. It'll be here.
They're coming.
They're coming.
Here's my commitment. Next Friday we'll have one.
Awesome.
We'll be back.
Folks really like
Yeah.
them. So yeah.
He's got people coming at him. Everybody wants on Descent into Mystery, that chapter.
I know, that's gonna be like
That's when everybody wants. Justin will be like, we have 23 guests on this episode of chapter by chapter, all saying the same thing. That music. Oh my gosh. Bill, go ahead. Anything you got? I know you just kind of teased what's coming up next week, but
just Batman on Film. Batman-on-film.com. That's it. That's all I got.
That's it. There you go. For me on Batman-on-film.com, where I've got reviews of the Batman title. There will actually be one for new issue next week. Also got for the latest White Knight book, Generation Joker #1. That's also on the website. And also, Bill generously posts every episode of my podcast, The Batman Book Club, on Batman on Film. So make sure you check that out on the website. Check that out on Twitter at the Batman BC. And actually, both of these gentlemen have been were on the show last month.
Yeah.
Each covering a separate book. How about that?
Probably the best shows you've ever had.
Pretty much. And then after them was Pete playing cleanup.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's all I got. So I think this is where announcer Rachel will take us out.
Nice. Nice.
Thanks for listening to the BOF Social Hour, Jett's official vlog and podcast on Batman on Film. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film. Follow the BOF newsfeed on Twitter at the Batman on Film. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original, Batman on Film, established in 1998.